So hello everyone and welcome back to another video of some F1 2019 gameplay. Today we are going to be simming 4 seasons of career mode. So we are continuing on from the episode that we did when we were the teammate of the man sitting opposite us. Yes, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. The prick himself, Devon Butler. He's over there. But yes. Oh look, it's JD. Hey JD, over here. Look, can you come on out with his setup? Oh, there's some other bloke over here. No, JD. JD, where you going? Where you going? Over here, JD. JD. Where you going? Oh, he's gone. I need help with my setup. Just can't get the staff these days. You know what I mean? Okay. So yes, as I was saying, we continue on from the other day with the career mode today. We got 5 from Williams, and now we're at Toro Rosso, and now we're Devon Butler's teammate. And so this is the performance as we come up to the Italian Grand Prix. Williams have not had an upgrade at all. That's largely thanks to me, and neither so far have Toro Rosso since the Hungarian Grand Prix, since we joined us. And Mercedes are really striking ahead. Ferrari, Red Bull are being left behind. And then there's sort of the midfield teams are sort of merging on each other. Although I expect Toro Rosso now to drop off. But yes, this of course is the performance before the patch. It is coming out in 1.05. So God help us when we have to do this again. Okay, so yes, moving on. So that is the performance. Mercedes are running away, and the midfield are sort of merging on each other. They might make a jump, they might not.
Alright, listen up everyone. They've announced that the technical regulations are changing for next season. Now there's a risk a lot of our hard work could be undone if we're not careful. So let's figure out how to mitigate this. Drivers, take a look at the developments we have and let us know what you want to invest in protecting. Alright everyone, let's get on top of this.
I swear that was Ara sitting behind Devon Butler. But yeah, nobody, don't care. Contract value is awful. And let's see, so it's the durability upgrade and then the sashi area. It's not really going to hurt anybody other than Mercedes. You need an engine reset really for Mercedes because they are far too much ahead. They've had another. Williams have brought an upgrade as well. Well, that's nice to see. The Singapore Grand Prix. Yes, everybody else is starting to stale off. Racing Point, Alfa Romeo, McLaren are really close, as are Haas and Renault, and then of course Ferrari, Red Bull, and Mercedes are so far ahead. It is unbelievable. Okay, we've got moving to Russia now. We've had a little email from Jeff, so you can, Carl rather. You can see that there's a performance thingy comparison, a development comparison. But unfortunately for Toro Rosso, performance, well,
I told you if you carried on as you were and you didn't start putting in the kind of performances the team expected, you were going to lose your drive. Well, it's happened. As of today, you are no longer an employee of this organisation.
What does that say?
Lucky for you, one of us is competent. I found you an option elsewhere.
Can't make that either.
And I suggest you take it if you want any hope of salvaging this so-called career of yours.
It is way too easy to get fired on this game. But yes, we've rejoined Williams, which is good. And we're not the only person on the move. Because some development failures. Because there have been some team changes. Daniel Ricciardo has gone to Haas, replacing Grosjean. Grosjean has gone to Renault, replacing Ricciardo. And then Kvyat has gone to Toro Rosso, replacing me. And then I've moved back to Williams, and Giovinazzi has gone. Since that's intriguing that Ricciardo has gone to Haas and Grosjean has gone to Renault. I mean, you do see these swap moves occasionally in F1, but that's not usually like this. It's usually more like somebody goes to one team. Let's take the Sebastian Vettel. It's usually a domino effect. When he moved to Ferrari, Fernando Alonso at Ferrari moved to McLaren. McLaren, Kevin Magnussen got dropped, and at Red Bull, Danny Kvyat got promoted from Toro Rosso. So there's that domino effect. There isn't that. I haven't seen that domino effect in any of the driver transfers. They're not really that much domino effects. There needs to be that more domino effect in the transfers for team drive transfers. But yes, those are the changes. Let's move on. We've also received an email from Emma about the rivalry. She says, "Hi, just let you know the rivalry between you and Devon has generated a lot of positive public buzz, but the bad news is that it's for him and not for you. Failing to capitalise on the attention the pair of you whipping up means that you have not as much credibility in future contract negotiations. Let's look to how we can turn this around." Interesting. Well, rivalries are now affecting, if you do poorly in your rivalry, something they've added is actually affects the contract. I guess is okay, but depends. Some teams might take more interest in what public rivalry than other teams, what the public thinks of a driver than maybe what they're actually doing on track in the car that they've got, rather than I suppose it's not really all about rivalries, which the game in real life, which the game really wants to try and put an emphasis on. So yeah, again, this is all stuff the game needs. The Codemasters need to work at this to make it perfect, which it isn't really perfect at the moment. It's just a game mode that they've got, a game idea that they had, and they haven't developed the full potential of what the game has to offer in terms of this. But anyway, let's move on now to the end of the season. We once again got fired, and we move back to Toro Rosso, and we have some big transfers. Ricciardo has moved back to Renault, this time replacing Hulkenberg, who has gone to Haas. Raikkonen has moved to Racing Point, with Perez moving to McLaren to replace. So basically, Sainz moved to Alfa Romeo, replacing Raikkonen. Raikkonen moved to Racing Point to replace Perez, and Perez moved to McLaren. So that there sort of is that domino effect, but that's only three. They're linked together. We're not really seeing. We need to see bigger ones, and of course, Devon Butler has decided that he is going to join us at Williams. He was previously at Toro Rosso. The Prix is now in the slowest car of all, the Williams. So yeah, it's interesting to see there that that Ricciardo is gone back to Renault. It's something. If Ricciardo was, I think some of the drivers are too eager to leave, and some of the other drivers are too eager to stay. Some teams they get stuck at certain teams for a long time, and I think that's bad in the game coding. So they definitely need to work on driver transfers in future updates. Take a look now at the Season 2 car performance. You can see there that the changes have meant that Mercedes have really actually made a gain. So they are huge. They are far in front. Red Bull are in second. Renault have jumped Ferrari, who haven't done any changes. And then sort of Haas now in no man's land in fifth. Then you've got Alfa Romeo, Racing Point, McLaren all together in. And then you've got at the back, we've got Toro Rosso and Williams, who are really far behind yours. So yes, that is the end of Season 1. It's time to move into Season 2, and let's see what happens next. It's just moving on. There's an interviews with both Weber and Devon, so they are continuing. This is into season 2. But yes, I think really, to be honest, it'd be nice to see some more of the drivers. So like Ricardo, it's not hard to have an introduced transcript or even a press script or whatever. Maybe get some other interviewers in, like as I've said before. But yes, in other videos, they should really have interviews. And moving to the British Grand Prix of Season 2, you can see that Mercedes are starting to really streak away. There's sort of a big midfield team with like Red Bull and Renault really broken away, with Alfa Romeo, Ferrari, McLaren, Haas and Racing Point very close together. And of course the two teams have been not doing any R&D with Toro Rosso and Williams. Both of them are stuck at the bottom, and really, well, let's just say we had a lot of time in Emma's office, which of course was the office she had inherited from F1 2018.
I told you, if you carried on as you were and you didn't start putting in the kind of performances the team expected, you were going to lose your drive. And as of today, you are no longer an employee of this organisation. Lucky for you, one of us is competent. Come to an option elsewhere. And I suggest you take it if you want any hope of salvaging this so-called career of yours.
So yes, moving to the end of Season 2. Big moves. Gasly has moved from Red Bull to McLaren. Weber has moved to Racing Point. Max Verstappen has moved to Alfa Romeo, so he's left Red Bull. Both drivers are leaving Red Bull, which means Red Bull needed 2 new drivers. Lance Stroll has moved to Red Bull. Why is Lance Stroll in a Red Bull? I know Red Bull are the R&D pace. I'll show you the R&D from the end of Season 2 going into Season 3 shortly. There wasn't a change in regulations, which means that Mercedes will once again be able to boss it through Season 3. Lando Norris is also joining at Red Bull, and Robert Kubica has moved to Toro Rosso to replace myself, who I've gone back to Williams because I got fired again. So, yes. Let's have a look at the results of Season 2. Lewis Hamilton won the championship, Drivers' World Championship. Mercedes, well, they managed to win all the races. Alfa Romeo did big upgrades, which saw, of course, them getting very good, getting podiums towards the end of the season. Obviously, we got this McLaren moving up the order, Red Bull and Ferrari moving down. Vettel only got 40 points and only didn't score any points after the Austrian Grand Prix. I think if there'd been a big firings at Ferrari if that had happened in real life. He even got beaten by 95-year-old Kimi Raikkonen in a car run by bookies. But yes, but Hamilton really, if that had been a season like it was real life, I think most people would have turned off by now. Especially the fact that Verstappen finished third throughout half the season, and then Weber was the person who was picking up the podiums in the second half of the season. The couple for Ricardo, Gasly, and Ricardo and Perez. But yes, that's just not a good season really. Mercedes dominance. They have literally almost maxed. They're getting towards maximum level for their car, so no surprise there where Red Bull, Ferrari are dropping off massively. And moving to the performance, you can see here that Mercedes are getting very close to maximum level. We've got Alfa Romeo who are and McLaren who's second and third, Renault of fourth, and Racing Point of fifth. So Red Bull started off the second fastest team, Ferrari is the third, and they've gone, both of them. Ferrari are now the fourth slowest team on the grid, only just to Haas thanks to an upgrade at the last Grand Prix. But really, Ferrari have serious problems there. So do Red Bull, they're streamlining, and Williams and Toro Rosso are not really doing much because, of course, I've been going between the two in Season 2. As you can see, our performance is woeful. Kubica, I think, if he played this 6 career mode season, he'd probably be fired after 4 rounds by Williams. So fortunately, this Kubica has a real life, so he's not going to be quitting yet. Potentially, I mean, he could quit mid-season, but we'll have to wait and see about that. But yes, he would definitely not survive as many rounds as he has. But yeah, but Mercedes are really dominant, and we'll see them with no regulation changes. We'll see them hit their top performance through Season 3. In actual fact, they got very close with the upgrades over the winter period going into Season 3. Alfa may have dropped a bit as Racing Point had jumped them. Renault are close to them. Red Bull have sort of thing, but Ferrari have been jumped by Haas, so they are now the third slowest team in the grid. Yes, Mercedes are really that close to getting their top performance car, and we're only in round 1. So this is going to be a lot of dominance for Mercedes into Season 3, which is unfortunate for everybody else. And Ferrari, Red Bull are going to struggle to even get points. Moving to the British Grand Prix now, and Season 3, and you can see that Racing Point have been doing a couple of majors on the cars, so they have jumped McLaren into the second fastest team in the grid, but nobody can match Mercedes. Mercedes are getting 1-2s in every single race. You can see that we are sitting with Williams. Toro Rosso have jumped us, and it won't be long before I get fired. Really, Renault and Alfa Romeo are trying to do some upgrades. Ferrari have done an upgrade but really, them and Red Bull, the third and fourth slowest team on the grid. Now they're supposed to be the second and third fastest in real life. Mercedes have hit top dog 1,078. I think they can get high with 1,080, which I think is actually what they are at because off the line. I think it's just the fact that Williams and Toro Rosso are really that low in terms of their R&D in Season 3. Yes, Mercedes domination all the way. Now, one thing that has been brought to the game, which I quite like, is an email from Carl about next year's regulation. Now, this is about the Belgian Grand Prix, which is usually around Singapore, where the new regulations get announced. With that cutscene that everybody's seen, shown earlier in the video, we've seen it a couple more times. But an email from Carl says, Peter Devon, some important information. I should point out at this point, Devon Butler is my teammate at Williams. Looks like we're probably going to have some regulation changes next year. We'll think this to affect multiple departments, but we aren't sure which one. Be cautious when it comes to investing in upgrades. We may to start adapting them for next year if we add these if and when these changes are confirmed. So that's quite a nice little addition by Codemasters into this year's game. The fact that they got an email like warning you beforehand, like at Belgium. I think this is Belgium Grand Prix. That there's changes that are definitely on the way in terms of R&D. It'd be nice if he could speculate. Or maybe we see a press article or something like that. Press articles could be a big thing that could be added for 2020. But I'll touch on that in another video later on. Moving to Singapore, it was actually the areas confirmed are the engine and aero department that are getting reset. So yes, those are two of the areas that really were. Now, have you ever wondered why Williams are so slow? They've been slow for a couple of seasons now in real life. Well, the F1 2019 game has the answer. Yes, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. X-Matty G is working at Williams. Yes, he employs Williams. Claire, you need to fire him. Matt is not going to be able to improve your car no matter how much blagging he's been doing. No matter how much he's been doing, Claire, X-Matty G needs to go.
Right, welcome back. It's going to be one heck of a season, I think. To be honest, I don't think we've done the best job maintaining our performance through this regulation change, though we're going to be playing a bit of catch-up this year. We're counting on you, but you've got the whole team behind you.
Wow. Okay, I was not expecting to see that cutscene at all. That is actually quite a nice cutscene to see, because it's not one you're ever going to see. I imagine there's probably another one to say if we've done well this season on the R&D potentially. That is quite a nice cutscene to see, because we don't really. There needs to be more cutscenes in the game, and they've added that one as a bonus that we didn't expect. So yes, there's been a couple of changes over the period, because of course we've had R&D regulation changes. This is now up to season 4, the start of season 4. Daniel Ricciardo has moved from Renault to Alfa Romeo. Carlos Sainz has gone the other way, and then Danny Kvyat has moved to Williams to replace Butler. Butler's gone back to Toro Rosso, replacing George Russell as a late replacement. Russell has gone to Williams replacing me, and it's just tit for tat transfers, etc, etc. Really, though, the R&D though, through season 3 though, saw Mercedes really dominate the season. But yes, you can see that many teams are starting to top out. Through the end of season 3, Mercedes haven't topped out since the Spanish Grand Prix. A couple of upgrades for McLaren, but they too have started to top out. As now the 5th start is Team Renault at the second fastest side. Alfa Romeo, Racing Point as well. Red Bull and Ferrari are very close to each other, but they are so far behind. And it got worse for Ferrari and Red Bull, really, because their R&D performance was so bad. They scored no points. That's correct. Both of them scored no points throughout the game, throughout the season at all. That is the worst performance by Ferrari ever. Ferrari have always scored points. Red Bull, it's been the worst performance since before 2009, really. And even then they managed to score points back then. So a terrible season for both of these teams, as Mercedes continue to dominate. And you can see there that Lewis Hamilton, well, he won every race from Belgium onwards, and it was when there was a blip. Literally, it was the turn of Valtteri Bottas to win. No other driver has won since season 1 than Hamilton or Bottas. Racing Point, McLaren are the top teams, although Ricciardo had a late run form to finish 3rd and 4th, and although he's gone now to replace Sainz, Ricciardo and Verstappen, interestingly, out both Alfa Romeo for season 4. Red Bull scoring no points at all, with Hulkenberg coming back later in the late form to get good point score, and Grosjean really being the second fiddle to Ricciardo. As we would expect, Grosjean really isn't a very good driver. This is the point where we're into 3 seasons now. There are quite a lot of drivers who have been here a long time, like Grosjean, Raikkonen, Perez even, we're into season 3. By the time season 3 is 2021 in real life, surely that potentially we could see them move on, get replaced by some Formula 2 drivers, but none of them. But the thing is there's not that transition yet. Whether or not that happens in when the Formula 2 update comes in September, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But it was a dreadful season for Red Bull Ferrari, scoring no points. And after the R&D changes have been done, Mercedes have fallen down to the fifth fastest team. Racing Point are now the fastest team in the grid, follow Alfa Romeo and Haas. So I don't think anybody would expect that. Those three. Of course, Alfa Romeo got a very strong lineup of Verstappen and Ricciardo at this point. Racing Point have still got Raikkonen and Weber, with McLaren and Haas as well maintaining their lineups. And of course, I've got us, Toro Rosso at the bottom, because of course I got fired from Williams at the end of the season and moved to Toro Rosso. Ferrari have gone even worse. It's got worse, and they're even further behind than they were at the end of the season. So really bad for Red Bull, Ferrari, even Renault now are the 6th fastest team in the grid. But they are close, and this is something that Renault and Mercedes, Renault, McLaren, Alfa Romeo can all build back from. They could, but for Ferrari and Red Bull, Williams and Toro Rosso, that's their season done. It didn't take long though for Mercedes to get back on top, and Renault of course as well. So by the time we get to Hungary, Renault and Mercedes are pretty much top 2, followed by Racing Point, who did win some of the earlier races. However, since then I've really stalled. I have stayed so far this season with Toro Rosso. Red Bull are making big gains, but none for Ferrari. They're really lacking. McLaren are now dropped to the 6th fastest team with a slot not race. Well, they are starting to upgrade again, getting that car back to where it should be with Perez and Gasly, of course. Alfa Romeo have gone to the 4th fastest team, so nothing won for Verstappen or Ricciardo in either of those races. Natural perhaps in this career mode, really, for the excuse me. And at the end of the season, in the middle of the season, Sainz and Ricciardo actually swapped teams. Only because Renault made that big stride in performance to the 2nd fastest team, and Alfa Romeo became the 6th fastest. But that's the 3rd time Ricciardo's been at Renault in this career mode. As Devon Butler looks on. You can see there that's why Renault really started to make the ground. And moving to the end of the season, I thought I'd move to Ferrari. So Vettel moved to Red Bull. Verstappen moved to Haas. And the Grosjean moved to Haas as well, replacing Magnussen. Hülkenberg moved back to Renault to partner Ricciardo. Magnussen moved to Alfa Romeo to replace Verstappen. And Norris moved to Toro Rosso, replacing me. So that is some very interesting thing. Norris got actually demoted to that. But this Ferrari, I thought I'd just move there for the end of this, because of course this is the end video now. You can see there we got quite a few there. It's actually pretty close to being maxed out. There's only a couple of more upgrades they've got left to do. And yet they're still the 3rd slowest team. But they're majors on the thing, and they should actually get Ferrari back up to close to Mercedes, but really that is poor for Ferrari. Red Bull have moved to the 2nd fastest team. Lance Stroll is now there. Yes, that is going to round off this video. If you enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new to see more up on 2019 videos. No way in hell am I doing another continuing on with this series, because it was boring to record. It took 6 hours of recording. We've got that stilled it down in just around to half an hour of 4 seasons. So yes, let me know what you think in the comments below, whether Cody's can improve on the game, whether you think the transfers are real or not. I personally would prefer to see more realism between Ferrari and Mercedes, whether somebody moves. But you can see that Raikkonen finished in second. He won the earlier part of season 4. Before then, Mercedes reached maximum potential and literally never looked back from then. So I'm going to leave it there. And until the next video, take care, enjoy your day, and goodbye.